Hey everyone, my name is Dr. Dolores Tarver. I'm a licensed psychologist here in Georgia, and it is time for the Tea Time with Dr. Tarver is a wellness-based podcast. It is not intended to be a substitute for a relationship with a licensed mental health provider. Here we are back in October. We have talked about fertility. We have talked about being in toxic relationships, and today we're going to talk about hurting, healing, and hope as we get through this series in October, as we're talking about just being emotionally well. We know that people are dealing with breast cancer. This Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We know that this has been Mental Health Awareness Day. And so we're really just trying to make sure that we're keeping everyone as healthy as we possibly can. And so to that end, today we're going to be talking about Just Keep Living, my story of hurt, healing, and hope. As always, you all know that you can drop your comments and your questions in the chat. Invite your friends in. They're going to want to hear this conversation. It is my sincere pleasure to introduce Miss Shelonda Sampson. I know y'all have seen her bopping around in all of her fabulousness. She is the mother of 3 sons and has 12 beautiful grandchildren. She has been a master cosmetologist for 24 years and is a small business owner. You may recognize her from Houston Hair Salon and also from My Fabulous Dudes. Appreciate you. She loves God and trap music, fishing, traveling, spending time with her family, finding the peace and joys of life. And she is the best combination of sassy, classy, jazzy, and please don't get me to be nasty. She is, in her words, just Shelonda. Welcome to Tea Time with Dr. Tarver, Shelonda.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate the invitation.
Absolutely. I appreciate you coming on. So we're going to go ahead and get in this thing because we have a limited amount of time. We got a lot to get to. So as we talk about hurt, healing, and hope, what are some of the most difficult hurts that you have dealt with in your life?
I guess I have to start with the most recent difficult moment in my life. And that's with losing my son about a little bit over a year ago. Definitely wasn't expecting that. Wow. It was devastating to say the least. It was rough. And I still have moments to this day. I'm sure I'll have moments for the rest of my life. I would not wish, this on anyone to have to bury a child. So yeah, it's rough at times. Very difficult.
What would you say are the toughest times? I know for some people, when you talk, because we don't never expect to bury our children, right? We expect our children to outlive us. And I know there's no way to prepare for that kind of loss. What would you say are some of the toughest moments for you? Some people will say nighttime is the hardest. Some people will say when I see the people that look like him, maybe his child or my grandchildren. Some people will say birthdays, anniversaries, certain times of year, certain smells, things. What have been some of the toughest moments for you in this grief period?
Yeah, all of those are definitely triggers. I have them all the time. Initially, when it happened, there were times I didn't want to get out of bed. There were times I didn't want to leave the house. The first holiday without Cameron, being honest,
Please.
I started drinking. I left the salon, got off from work, and I'm not a big drinker. And still, I came home and I started drinking. I started drinking a bottle of wine every day, which is uncommon for me. Yeah, it gets a little crazy at times, and I have to pull myself out of it because it's so easy to fall into the rabbit hole, as I call it. And once you're there, it's hard to get out of because I've been there, and I just try my best not to get back into that position. So like you said, a lot of things, I can see my grandson that looks exactly like Cameron. His little feet are just like Cameron. His whole demeanor is just like Cameron. I'm thankful that I do have him, but there are times I look at him and it does make me emotional, to see him the things I saw a kid that reminded me. I have a client actually that reminds me of Cameron. His demeanor when he comes in, his swag, and I'm like, boy, if you remind me of my baby. So it's a lot of different things that, you know, kind of trigger me, but through the grace of God, I'm able to kind of pull through it. Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned the drinking, because I know that we just look for stuff to, even if it's temporary relief from the pain, just, you know, let me sleep. Let me have a moment where it doesn't ache, where I don't flash back to the last time I saw you, where I don't think about if there was something that maybe I could have done to prevent this. Like, how did the drinking, or maybe what was the attempt in the drinking when you were noticing yourself in that pattern?
It helped me relax.
Mm-hmm.
It helped me to sleep. It helped me to kind of detach from it all.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. I've been in counseling, in and out. There are times when I've told my therapist that I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm just being honest. I'm like, you want me
Yeah,
to
absolutely. Absolutely.
talk about it anymore. It just took a void out of my life temporarily.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't fix the problem. The problem was still there, but it helped. But I knew that it wasn't something that I could, you know, kind of dwell on a regular basis. That's not me. That's just not me.
Couldn't keep that up.
I couldn't keep it up. Thank God. Thank God. I just couldn't keep it up. I remember going to my trainer and getting on the scale, and he was like, "Oh, you was eating a lot during Thanksgiving, were you?" I was like, "No, I was drinking." So, you know, that it's I love the way that the Lord will just snap me back into reality. I'm very grateful for that. He won't allow me to lay in it long. Praise God. And I'm so thankful for that relationship that I have with him, that I'm not able to do that because it's so easy. So easy. And I'm glad about that.
I appreciate, you know, your honesty, because there are a lot of women out here suffering.
Oh yeah.
With hurt and pain, and so we do stuff in secret. Right. So you go home and you do stuff. You go home and you drink, you go home and you eat.
All of that.
You know, you go home, you cry, you get under covers, you go home, you angry, you hide, because in that hiding is where all of the shame is and all of the pain is.
Right.
And so, you know, for you, you know, we always say you're a light. For you, God isn't going to let you stay in that darkness.
No, very thankful for that. One thing I can say, I just lost a relative yesterday, and I always told her, I said, you know, God built us tough. You know, me and God have these conversations all the time, and I tell him, you made me like this. You know, I'm just independent. You know, everybody thinks you have it all together, and the majority of the time I do. You know, I thank God that I do, but I'm human. Losing my kid showed me that more than anything. You know, Shelonda, you are not exempt, I should say, from the hurt, the pain, and all this other good stuff that you got to go through just like everybody else.
Yeah.
That's cool. I just am appreciative of the way that he allows me to go through. There's a sense of peace over me at times that I don't even understand. I'm just being, I don't.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The fact that I have a relationship with God is like a godsend, because the simple fact is I don't see how I could do it without him. Period. Point blank. You know, the Lord has placed a lot of special people in my life to help me actually get through this. My husband is one of them. Had I not been married and in my house by myself when I lost Cameron, no. Now he keeps me going. We're silly.
Yeah.
We have a good time. You know, my other sons and stuff, you know, they have been, you know, amazing. Like I said, God knows who to send at the right time. And the fact that he allows me to talk about it, it actually helps me too. The fact that he allows me to help other people, even while I'm hurting, it helps me as well.
Mhm.
So I'm grateful for all of that, all of that.
And you
Yes, ma'am.
said, God built you this way, but honestly, you have fine-tuned this skill of being able to use your hurts to help others.
Um, I've been through a lot in my life.
You've
If
been
I could
through a
sit
lot.
here and tell y'all all
Yeah.
of it, we'll be here all day.
Mm,
But it has definitely made me the woman that I am.
mm,
I can see the things that I've been through that actually have helped me go through the things that I'm going through now.
mm,
In one point in time in my life, I couldn't see any of that. I wouldn't have been able to see it as clear as I can see it now.
mm,
In this journey in my life, I have to change my perspective. My husband always says you can look at the glass half empty or half full. Okay. So I thought about that, and he's right. I could sit here and just, tuck my tail, feel
mm.
sorry for myself. Oh, my child don't, I ain't gonna put it together. No, I have other children to live for. I have 12. Praise the Lord. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
Much is given, much is required.
Yeah.
I have 12 grandkids that I
Mm,
need to be living for. I have a mom that I take
mm,
care of that needs me. I have a whole husband now
mm,
that needs me. So these are the things that push me.
To
I
keep
got family,
going.
right, that I just need to love on, and
Mm.
it keeps me going. And I'm just grateful for that. But yeah.
And you make a good point that I think also a lot of us struggle with, right? So I'm hearing a lot of caregiving.
I
And
am a caregiver. No, I'm a nurturer. I've
mhm,
always been that way. The Lord gave me my first son at 17 years old.
mm,
And when I saw him and they placed him on me, I vowed to love him and the ones that came after him, and
mm,
everything that's attached to them. I am very family orientated, and if
mm.
I'm a firm believer, if you taking good care of Shalonda definitely gonna take care of you.
Yeah.
I don't play about mine. I really take care of mine. So yeah, you're right. I'm a caregiver. And sometimes, yes, I know you're gonna ask me. It gets
You
exhausting.
know. You
It
already
gets
know. Yeah.
exhausting
Mhm.
because a lot of time I'll deposit in so many people, but nobody is depositing back into me. And yeah, it can
Mhm.
get a little exhausting at times because everybody
Yeah.
say, Shalonda, you're the strong one. Yeah, but strong people need, a little help too
Come on, Saints.
along the way. We need to be
Mhm.
encouraged. We need to be loved on. We need to be bought something nice every now and then.
Mhm.
Pat on the back, girl, you're doing all right.
Mhm.
You cute today.
Yeah.
Anything. So type of encouraging words to help sister get through.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yes,
I
ma'am.
appreciate you sharing that too, because I think a lot of times, right, the gift and the curse of the strong Black woman.
Yeah.
So when people know that you're the go-to, that you are
Mhm.
going to, hey, I'm a problem solver, I'm gonna figure it out. I am gonna make sure that y'all loved on and well taken care of. That doesn't mean that I don't need to be taken care of.
Right.
That doesn't mean I don't need to be loved on. That doesn't mean that I'm not, I may not stay in that pity party, but I get to have one.
Right. Exactly.
Um,
Exactly. Look, somebody said, "Oh, you good? You got this." And I want to say, I don't want it.
I don't want it.
Sometimes I just don't want it. Yeah, I got it,
Mm,
and yeah, I can handle it, but sometimes I might not even want it. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
absolutely.
And I'm being honest. And like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm being honest. Sometimes I might not want it, but I'm gonna deal with it when it's placed into my lap. So, but yeah.
But you get to not want it. You get to be tired. You get to, because I imagine that someone calling your name all the time gets exhausting too. When you're the person who, hey, I'm caregiving for my mom, so they calling me.
Mhm.
When something going on with the grams and they need some help, they calling me. When somebody need that last minute, my hair and I got something going on, hey, can you fix it? Or, hey, you got some advice for this situation? I remember growing up, my mother used to say sometimes she wished she could change her name from mama. And it used to make me laugh. But as I got to be a mother, I understood what she meant. And it's not
Right.
that you don't love your children. It's not that you don't love the things that come along with it. But yes, sometimes I don't want all of it. Not
Right.
today. Today I'm tired.
And I have to
Yeah,
tell some of my clients when let's put this, let's say this, my chair's a ministry.
it is.
I don't care what nobody say.
It is.
When the Lord placed that in my lap, because I never wanted to do hair. I'm just being honest.
Mm-hmm.
He placed it in my lap. And when he placed it in my lap, I fell in love with it.
Mm.
That's when I knew I was in my purpose. My chair is definitely a ministry, because the simple fact is there are people that sit in that chair that I have to deposit and love on. And then
Mm-hmm.
there's people that sit in my chair that also deposit into me and love on me
Yeah.
as well. I
Yeah.
wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm just being honest. I would not
Mm-hmm.
trade it for the world. And I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. It's something special about it.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that.
You got some clients on here that saying they're grateful for you and they
Oh,
appreciate you. And yes, your chair is a ministry.
well, I appreciate y'all. I really do. Thank y'all so much, as always. But yeah, tough losing a kid. Is it over? No.
Mm-mm.
Do I have my moments? Absolutely. Do I have a place in my dog is an emotional support dog, even though she ain't certified. Please leave. She knows when I'm having a moment.
Mm-hmm.
I sit in my closet. I have a walk-in closet that I consider as my room, and that's where I sit, and that's where I do my thinking. That's where I cry. That's where I. At one point in time in my life, after Cameron, I was cussing up a storm, fussing at
Mm-hmm.
this child, like, "What the Cam? Why you leave?" Just
Mm-hmm.
it grieving.
Mm-hmm.
One minute you're blaming, the next minute you're trying to rationalize what if I could have.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're sad. You're just all over the place at
Mm-hmm.
times.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that cycle of grief. And we go through the anger, the questioning, the bargaining,
Right,
um, the what ifs. I could have done something different. Could I
right,
have said something if I would have? Um, the how am I going to live without this person in my life?
right.
And sometimes it feels like I, a betrayal almost. Like I don't want to forget about you, and I know that I also have to move on. So we
Right,
struggle with what that looks like.
exactly.
Um, and then everybody grieves different. So I imagine that for you, now you have children, you have grandchildren, his brothers, his nephews and nieces. And so, people grieve different. People that love you, who were praying for you in this grieving experience. Like life for us moves different.
It does.
And so as we're, hey, yeah, take some time away. But then a year comes. We haven't been in the same place in that year that you've been in that
Hmm.
year. What have you been doing in terms of your healing? Because as you said, this grieving doesn't end, it just transitions.
So with me, um, definitely a balancing act.
Mm,
So I have to detach at times. Um, I do like to get away. Most of the time, if you see me, I'm by water. It's very therapeutic to me.
mm,
When Cameron passed away, I would go sit on the bridge every morning, just to relax and unwind, just get away from it all, cry, shout, and all this other good stuff. I travel. Travel has always been therapeutic to me, to be
mm,
able to get away from my regular element, away from the regular routine, and just focus on being Shelonda and not the grandmother, the mother, the business owner, the person that prays for you, the
mhm.
whatever, the super cousin,
You're right.
and the fly niece. You know what I'm saying? With the
Mhm,
hypno. So all of that, I just I'm just Shalonda, and
mhm,
I look forward to that. That's what I do in order to keep me sane. Not saying that's going to work for everybody, but it
mhm.
helps Shalonda a lot.
Yeah. But I think just that being able to unplug, and you
Yes.
mentioned earlier that you feel like you've had some other hurts in your life that have allowed you to be able to look at this situation
Yeah.
in a different way. Um, and so it sounds like part of the healing too has been like I kind of have taken stock from these other experiences and recognized maybe the ways that I dealt with that have helped me be able to deal with this, or maybe the ways I dealt with that was like that probably wasn't real helpful. So maybe I want to try a little something different this time. Um,
Yeah, the Lord has definitely showed me where there's certain things in my life that he's orchestrated in order to help me deal with other things in my life. If that makes sense. I can see it, like I said, I can see it really clear. There was one time in my life I was angry with God. I was furious. Of course, I didn't know God like I know him now. I definitely wouldn't do that now because I know what he's capable of doing. There's times that God convicts me so quick and it make your head spin. So I know I'm in the right place.
yeah.
Yeah, God is amazing. He's something. I don't try to play with him at this point in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not saying I'm perfect because the sister will air you out real quick
Yeah.
and use choice
Yeah,
words.
you
But
definitely are part of that too.
definitely a big growth process. I've grown a lot. So yeah.
I mean, I definitely think, and I appreciate you saying that, that anger with God, because I think sometimes we feel like when we have faith, that means we can't be angry. Like if I love God and I recognize all of the things that God has done for me, then why could I be angry with God? How could I be angry with God? But the truth is, you're allowed to feel how you feel. And in that moment, in that space, yeah, I'm angry, God, because you took away my son. And we already done been through a lot of things together, God. I already feel like, I have come to know you in a different way. Did I really need to have this experience too? I remember my mother, she was diagnosed with breast cancer the first time she was diagnosed. We were, my brother might have been in high school. I think I might have been still in junior high, telling my age, junior high. And she said she was so mad with God. She didn't pray. She didn't read scripture. She didn't, because she said, why would you do this knowing I got these children? And who is going to take care of these babies? Like, why would you do that to me? I've been faithful. I've all of these things. And so she said she fell out with God for a little minute before she was able to recognize that God was with her in that journey. Uh,
Mhm.
but at first she was very upset. She was very hurt. And I think in any relationship where there's love, there can also be hurt.
Right, exactly. A lot was taken from me in my younger years. So, like I said, it initially helped me when Cameron was taken from me. I had to realize too, and God had to tell me vividly, he wasn't yours in the first place.
Mm,
So I
mm,
was, Cameron and all our children, God loans us
mm.
these children. Did I like that? Absolutely not. I didn't like that whatsoever. You gave me this kid, Lord. So what's up? Like seriously. But we all have to make that journey. Some of us sooner than others. Like I said, I had a cousin that passed away yesterday, and I am very grateful, just as with Cameron. Me and death here recently, my perspective has changed a lot.
Mm,
Probably because I've been through it a lot. I had, with certain family members, but my dad and all this good stuff. But I think about all the good times.
mm.
Don't get me wrong, my kid was having a blast.
Living life.
He was doing Cameron like only
Mm,
Cameron Saxon could. You know what I'm saying? So, and I look at that. I watched all the videos the young people were posting about it. He was having a good time.
mm,
Um, and I'm gonna share this. And I pray somebody's on this line that got younger kids or younger kids that's watching this or whatever the case may be. And a lot of people might not know, but let me go ahead and put it out there because I asked the Lord today. I said, if I'm on this live and I need to, whatever it is, in order to help somebody tonight, let it be done. My kid, on his death certificate, my son, passed away from accidental fentanyl poisoning. Whatever he was taking or smoking or whatever my baby was doing, it was laced with fentanyl. Keep in mind that just a little bit of fentanyl, like the size of a grain of rice, can be deadly. Your kids or y'all smoking or whatever the case may be. I just want people to be mindful. It's just more than just Cameron out here that's leaving here. from doing this. There are several kids that you might not hear about. You hear about it because you know Shelonda.
Right.
But there are a lot of families out here that's losing their children and loved ones because of this. I just want it to be known that there's a presence in this area with that drug that people need to be aware of. It took me a long time to pick up that death certificate when it was available. I sat in my car 30 minutes and I had to talk to my youngest son, and he had to pull it out of me. And I read it, and I read it to him, and my heart just dropped. It still to this day does something to me. But I have to thank God, because there were times I had to pray for my child, and some of his friends got killed, and I asked the Lord, I said, if please don't let me have to identify no bodies. Please don't let me have to relive this thing all over again when they're looking for this, that, and the other. And the Lord granted me my wish. He was at home with his partner when they found him. So no, I didn't have to do all this stuff. So you have to take the small victories, so I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
I know that sounds crazy. You should be thankful for, because your son is not here. But I am thankful for that, because he gave me what I asked for. Yeah. We are hanging in there. My sons seem to be doing really well too. We're tough. We miss Cam. I just telling somebody the other day, the little crazy stuff. Me and Cam used to have a crazy little relationship, but it was comical at times. But the funny thing is, out of all my children, Cameron used to go to church with me the most. Now I take my grandson, Cameron's son, to church with me now. So you just think about all that good stuff. Yeah. I'm like, look at the Lord. Do you see what I'm saying? You take the small victories and you make it work. I thank the Lord for that, to be able to do that. Does it make me paranoid with my other children? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know they be like, Mom, you be doing the most. I be want to call them, and I want to make sure, where you at? What you doing? Call when you get home. I need to talk to you. And it's, that's, I guess that I know that's part of it.
That is.
And I'll probably be that way. I don't play about them or my grandkids. I'd be like, hey, y'all keep eye on him, because it's just so much going on in the world. I thank God for like I said, there are some amazing women that the Lord has placed in my life that has helped me through this. People, period. He will send a total stranger to help me in a heartbeat. And I was like, okay, now I see you now. So, yeah.
Just like God.
I'm grateful for it all, even though I hurt.
Yeah.
A
lot of love from people in the chat, sending you hugs and love, and the honesty, because you didn't have to share that, and you did, and we thank you for that transparency.
I just want to help. Nobody knows this type of hurt unless you've actually experienced it. I have sat on the bridge with a lady that has actually lost her son. I want to say a week before I lost mine. And we just loved on each other. You have to see God through that too. She was supposed to come and help me. And actually, we ended up helping each other. And, it's a blessing in itself.
And like you said, somebody needs to ask a question to somebody they love. Like, hey, are you for sure what's in that? Are you aware of the effects of this? And it's hard, right? It is when we ask God for things, because in our minds, we envision it to be in a different way. Hey, just let him lead alone.
Right.
That's
Right.
that's what I was going for, God.
Really? For that?
That would
I'm
have been my preference.
right.
But since I can't tell you how to be God,
Exactly.
so in some ways, like you said, my anxiety now is gone about him, about Cameron. Like, hey, I know you're safe in God's arms. Would it have been my choice to have you here safe? Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd have definitely been my choice.
Definitely. I pray for his other side, his dad.
Mm.
We are two different people. We grieve differently. And I have to, my heart goes out to him. That's his only child.
Mm.
I have, two still left, and there he is too.
Mm.
And I just there's a lot of stuff that when I do pray that I have to pray for. You'll be surprised.
Mm.
You'll be surprised.
I think knowing you, I probably wouldn't be.
You'll be surprised.
But I will say when you were talking about being near water, that's a healing thing for me too. Prayer, healing, and being able. So one of the other sides of pain and hurt is hope. And I think for you too, part of what you're doing in this healing is to give other people hope. So, hey, if I can give you a question to ask that I didn't know to ask, if I can give you an understanding of something that I didn't know about, if I can bring some level of awareness to somebody who may be doing some similar things that Cameron was doing, then that gives me hope that somebody else might get a different story. And even though I wouldn't have chosen for Cameron to be the example, one of the things about Cameron that you have talked about is Cameron was always going to do
Cameron and Cameron gonna set the example. So
Cameron.
I wouldn't see this not fitting, to be honest.
Right. Absolutely.
When you
Absolutely.
put it that, you know what I'm saying? That's Cam. Like I said, Cameron had a lot of me in him to a certain extent. A lot of his dad too. When it comes to me, he's that flamboyant. I'm gonna do me. Kind of. I'm on. Just different. That was him. You mentioned about hope. You just gotta have it. You gotta know where it comes from. I just can't stress it enough for people that don't know who the Lord is. Please find the Lord, because I just can't understand how you do it without him. I just can't do it. I see him so vividly now with certain things in my life, and I wouldn't change that for the world. At all. But my hope is to continue to be the best Shelonda that I can be. To be the best person to anybody that I come in contact with, to be positive, to be transparent, to be helpful. I can be bold.
And can.
And straight to the point, you know what I'm saying? But honest.
Yes.
Very honest. Very honest. Loving. And of course, nurturing. But God-fearing and a little crazy at times.
I think they kind of go together. I think they got to go together a little bit there.
There's a dude that's in my workout class in the morning. He's so funny. He said, how he said it? Be safe and be dangerous. It was so crazy. And I had to think about it and then really realize exactly what he was talking about. But just to be a little comedy in there, he said be safe and be dangerous. But There's just certain things that you just got to do. You got to be aggressive about certain things. And my walk with God, I got to be really aggressive with that, because the simple fact is it's a must. So when it's a must, you approach it a little bit differently. So yeah.
I think it is in the loneliest moments, in the silence of grief is a deafening silence.
Oh yeah.
And it's so silent and it's so loud at the same time. It's like your pain echoes and your mind doesn't stop going, and you playing all of this stuff and you replaying things and moments and images, and there is only God that can even be with you in that, because there's no words that anybody can say. You and this stranger that you met, I imagine that most of it was about touch, less of it probably was about words. It's just like somebody else that feels this pain, that I'm sharing this grief space with someone. And those are the moments when, you know, if you didn't know God, you get to know God.
Right.
Because you do a lot of talking to yourself.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do all the time. I'm constantly talking to myself. I'm not crazy, but then again, no. But you definitely talk to yourself, and you know I'm talking to God. I'm talking to Cameron. I'm sure with my cousin, I'll be talking to her after a while. But it like I said, it's something. But it can be a good thing too.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I get an opportunity to love on Cameron's son, my grandson. Yeah. And show him, you know, the love that he needs to know from, you know, one grandmother. He has two. So, you know, I just look at it like that. Shelonda, you know, make the best out of it. That's where I am right now. Yeah. I can't let y'all have my joy. I ain't got much to give. So listen, I got to keep this right here. You know what I'm saying? I got to stay positive. I got to make the best out of my situation, because it's easy to fall in that rabbit hole.
Yeah, that hole is a lonely, dark.
I don't want to be there. I climbed out of it. Once I climbed out of it, I tried to go back.
Yeah. But you know, that's the real part too, right there. It's like, hey, that hole it's not like it's not right there. Right. You know, I try to step around it.
Exactly. As much as I can.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But it's there. And so I have to be, so the intention, I'm hearing you say you're intentional about, let me find the joys. Let me give this love to these grandbabies. Let me love on these sons. They may feel like I might be a little obsessive at times, but let me love on them, because one of the things that it sounds like this loss of Cameron taught you, even more so, was like, hey, I don't know how long I might have you because you're on loan.
That's right.
And so, but while you here, the thing that you're going to know from me is that you're loved.
That's right. Absolutely. There's a lot of stuff, like I said, me and God there's a lot of stuff I just had to just give to God. Because Shelonda is a fixer, and Shelonda is one of the people that take charge and make sure everything is all right. But then the Lord told me vividly not too long ago that, yeah, I know who you are. I know you're able to do all this stuff, but this ain't the time. This is not the time. You know, you need to get this stuff to me. Stop giving it to me and picking it back up.
That's a word for all of us.
Hey, he convicted me. So I'm talking about I was straight miserable for about 2 days. And I'm like, but you made me like this. He's like, yeah, I know what you made of. Yeah, I made you like that, but this is not the time.
I also made you to be able to do other things.
That's right. Give it up.
Yeah. You don't have to be the fixer all the time.
That's right. Give it up. Let me have that. And once I did, he opened up some doors that I thought was closed. And it was like truly amazing to honestly experience and to be able to see that for what it was.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. And I think the reality is that most of us Black women because of the types of experiences we've had, we are easy to go in that role of fixer, easy to go in that role of caregiver, easy to go in that role of, hey, let me be motivation for you. Let me hype you up. Let me let you know all your gifts and how beautiful you are, and encourage you. And sometimes God does need to say, hey, you need that as well. So if you don't do it, it still will get done.
Exactly.
If you don't fix it, it still will get worked out.
Mm-hmm.
How about you let somebody cheer for you? How about you let somebody love on you, check on you, support you, take care of you, and you get a chance not to have your name called and be somebody something.
Right.
And you
Exactly.
just get to be Shelonda and you get to be my child. And that's enough in this moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now you spoke that, honey. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There are, I don't know who all of these people are in here, but there's a Miss Dent who is, I think she's trying to tell you some conviction, yes, in there as well. People have known you to be a strong woman, but they say you're more than that. And they want you to be able to receive, right? Because sometimes we give so much, we forget what it's like to receive.
Right.
And I talk to people all the time about, you got to turn your cup over. Um, if your cup is not facing upward, nobody can put anything in it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're so busy pouring in everybody else's cup, then your cup is never turned over for you to receive anything.
That's
So
true.
put your cup down and let it sit over so people can pour.
I respect all that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's a twofold ministry. I'm a give, and I just got. I appreciate it. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
I think everyone on here has said at some point just that they're thankful for you. Thankful for being able to either be in the chair or be the cousin or be the person that you just passed by who you smiled at and gave a word to. I don't think it's anything that you work at. I think it's just who you are. Um, you come into a space. I don't think I've ever been in a space with you and you didn't give a word. I don't think ever. Uh, even the first time I met you, you of course you look back at stuff now. I know you better now than I knew you then, but you have always given a word every space that I've ever seen you in, and I think that's part of your purpose. And I think that, like you said, that's part of your hope. Like I'm here to be able, either through my own story or my own growth, and somebody's gonna come tell me something that I'm gonna be able to share with somebody, or they're gonna see it being done to me and they're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's good. Right. So I think that's the hope that you also give us, is that even in this pain, pain that keeps coming because you just lost a cousin, another cousin, another family member. Like even in all of that, there is still hope that out of this pain, there
Mhm.
is healing.
Definitely. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. I
Yeah.
wouldn't see it any other way. Mm-mm. I'm a fighter.
You are. You definitely a fighter. You're a fighter, you're a survivor. But you're also a person. One of the things that I appreciate too about you is you'll take a rest.
Yeah, got to.
Yeah. You will
That's part of it.
say, I'm gonna shut it down. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go get away. I'll see y'all in a couple of weeks.
Right. And that is, it is more so at this point in my life than it has been ever before. It's a necessity at this point because I can't be the person that the Lord will allow me to be if I'm not in a certain space or in a certain mindset. So it's very important that I recharge. And I know a lot of people might not want that because I'm not as accessible to them. Um, I apologize. But in order to keep my inner peace, it's a must at this point right now in my life and probably for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say to you, I don't want you to ever apologize for taking care of you. right? Because anybody that loves you is going to say, yes, ma'am, I'll see you when you get back.
Right. Yeah, it's needed at times.
It is. It's necessary. So when you take that piece and take those breaks, it is you saying, I'm going to put my cup down and I'm going to turn it over so I can get filled back up. Then I'll be back.
I'll be back.
But I need to go do that for me. We always use that analogy when you're on the airplane. I know you're a person that flies. Whenever they're giving you that safety spiel at the beginning, they always say, hey, if these masks come down, you got a child with you, who do you put the mask on first?
Put it on yourself first.
Put it on yourself first.
Right.
So now how am I be able, if I can't breathe?
Yeah, say that. Say that. Okay, say that. Look, that's a word in itself.
Look.
Okay. Say that. Look, say that.
Look, if I can't breathe, how am I gonna be able to breathe?
Help you breathe.
Come on, like
exactly. I need to hear all of that. Yes, ma'am. You right.
yes, right.
Yes,
So you know, my gift to you is that you don't ever have to apologize for breathing. You don't ever have to apologize for putting your mask on first.
I love it.
Yeah. And there's somebody in this space or somebody that'll hear these words that needed to hear that too.
Exactly.
Because I don't care how strong I am, I still need to breathe.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't do nothing if we can breathe.
Listen. What gives me strength is breath.
Right. Listen, when you go to, look, I'm going to be real silly. You know, when you go to the emergency room, that's the first thing they want to do. If you have any type of complication with breathing, you go first.
Listen, what they doing? They putting, let me check your oxygen.
Yes,
let me,
hold on.
You know, let's see. Are you breathing? Are you getting enough air? Absolutely. They like, oh no, you're not going to be over here aspirating or losing your ability. Yeah, like we passing out on not over here. Now you go in there and say your stomach hurt, you're gonna sit in that waiting room, but you go in there and say you can't breathe.
Breathe is exactly.
Right. So for anybody that needs that reminder, always get your breath. Always. Yeah. So there are people who I know want to be supportive of folks in their hurt, right? And I know that for all of us that looks different. But if you were to say, what are some things that are helpful to you in your healing? What are the things that other people do that give you the hope? Like, what would those things be?
Other things that give me the hope. I'm a people watcher. I'm always watching what people do. Hope. Your church, that women's ministry, your Miss West, First Lady West. Am I saying that right?
Yep, Amaryllis is on here.
That was hope in itself. For you ladies to sit in my chair and y'all invite me to different places where I can sit there and I can just love on folks and hear the love in between other Black women. No animosity. Nothing but love, positive vibes. Oh, that's hope in itself. I'm just being honest. It'd be the simplest things that make all the difference in the world. It don't have to be the big ticket thing. You know, you ain't got to shout and hang from the rafters, all this other good stuff. Can a sister be with some other chicks and we just have a good time? Hope. Okay. This is what hope looks like to me. The fact that I can get up and I can keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Through everything that I've been through in my life, that's hope to me.
Come on.
Seeing my mom, even though we did a drastic change, but to be able to sit down and watch her smile and bingo today, that's hope to me. There's so much that list of things that brings me hope. I mean, a simple phone call when I know I need it the most from one of my aunts. Believe that's hope to me.
Yeah.
She ain't no joke. She a beast. That is my go-to spiritual. I mean, I don't know what me and her got, but we got a chemistry that's out of this world. I'll call her. She's like, you know what? I was just thinking about you, and we piggyback on each other. That's a sense of hope.
Yeah.
Girl, Jeannie, I can go on forever. That little thing that I'm married to, he's so spoiled and rotten. That's hope. I'm surprised he came through the door because he is really silly. So he hasn't gotten here yet. But like I said, God places certain things in your life if you allow him to be all the hope and inspiration and everything else that you need. All you have to do is be willing to allow him to work in your life. Please believe. That's the best thing.
Yeah.
That was a country thing. Please believe.
Please believe.
Please believe.
That make it real when you say that.
Please believe. Yes. So that's all. That's a lot of hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a lot of it. You know, I can see it. You know, 12 grandkids. Hope. I remember saying, like, what the world? What y'all doing? Like, y'all like little rabbits, ain't you? But when I tell you I love them things, oh my God. And we do big ticket things. They ain't number Lord.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to be an honorary grandkid because y'all have fun. Yeah.
No, but that's hope in itself. So it's a lot of different things that I'm just grateful for.
Yeah.
And I'm very appreciative for. And most of it's little stuff.
But I think people needed to hear that because you know, we think there has to be all these big grand gestures. But like you said, a good call from a auntie, some sisters. Well, we ain't got to compete. Ain't nobody fighting. That ain't your chair. We can sit wherever we want to. We can be in this space. We can drop a few crumbs.
Right. And just little stuff. My aunt and me, we are very something during football season. We are comical. Laughter. You know, we do some little crazy stuff and we laugh and all of that. It's the little things that get you through.
It is, because it's the little joys, right? It doesn't, if you keep looking for these big things, you will constantly be chasing, trying to fill in a hole, but it's the small things, the smiles, the laughter.
It's all that.
The hugs.
I got a client that is 6 something. This dude hugs me. I love him. And picks me up off the ground.
Oh.
And what he don't know is that it is so needed. He said, hey, Miss Shelonda, I love you. I'll be up in the
feet dangling.
So it's like, like I said, it's the littlest
things.
I know he genuinely cares, you know, for me. So just the little things like that. But yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. So someone on here is wondering that you matter, and if what you do matters, and you just got your validation from Miss Shelonda Sampson, that smile, that hug, that laugh, that go dog spirit, that the the Falcons rise up, whatever it is that connects you. The excitement you get when she do your hair, you got to twirl to flip that thing before you leave on out of there. All those little things are big things.
Big things to me. Yes,
definitely. Absolutely. Yeah. Giving that good hope. Listen, I want to thank you. So I asked Shelonda in the chair, like, hey, when you get ready, I'd love for you to come on the show. Take your time. And she said, I ain't never been ready, but I'm always ready.
Let's stay ready. Listen, you can never be ready. You got to stay ready. If that makes any sense. You just got to adapt. In life today, you have to adapt and adjust. So whatever comes your way, hey, you either seize the opportunity or let it go by. Nah, I'm seizing the opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
She
you
said, I
so
was
much.
going to ask you, but I'm waiting on you. I said, well, you know
Right.
what?
Yeah. I appreciate it so much. I have thoroughly enjoyed, and I pray that someone got something out of this. Like I said, I'm just Shelonda.
Yeah. Somebody just put that on there. This is her.
This is just me.
This is just Shelonda.
Got the raw version.
Yeah.
So hey, I can be a little bit more comical than this and a little bit more graphic than this, but of course,
Yeah.
That's me.
This is you, and this is what healing spaces look like. I think sometimes, we think about therapy, we think about being able to get support, and we're like, no, but this is what this looks like. This is two women sharing, talking in the space. That's one of the other things that can be very healing, is just simply to, hey, let me share my story. Ain't nobody got to fix nothing, because again,
Right.
we're not here to fix it. We're just here to listen and share and talk. And in that, there was healing that happened for somebody. You gave somebody a word, gave me a word. And we just thank you for using your gifts to pour into others, and also for turning over your cup so that people could pour into you. So thank you all, as always, for joining Tea Time with Dr. Tarver. I appreciate you. I want you to, on your calendars, mark Friday, December 9th at 7:00 p.m. And you will get more details about what's going to be on that day. But I will tell you, on that day, women are going to gather together, and we're going to look back at all that we've been through, and where we're going to go from there. All right. So appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Love you.
Love you. Thank you, beautiful.
Thank you, gorgeous. Everybody have a good night and be well.
Good night.
Good night.